intro again and stuff.
Yeah. Hello, this is Team Scrubout with that third place special deck.
Yeah, we played Aromaseraphy because they got new support and they're kind of cute now, but they're still bad. But whatever, we got third place today, I guess, so that's neat. So the first monster is Angelica, and for those of you who don't know what this deck does, because who does, Angelica lets you discard her from your graveyard, or from your hand to the graveyard, to target an Aromage in your graveyard and gain life points equal to its attack, which is relevant for triggering all of your Aromage spells, traps, and monster effects and things like that, and you can do that during either player's turn, so she's really good. And if you have higher life points, she can summon herself from the graveyard, but she's banished the next time she leaves the field, which is relevant because she's a level 1 tuner, so you can make synchro and link plays if you really need to. Next is one of the new monsters, Laurel. He just came out in the recent set Chaos Impact, and his effect says that if you have higher life points, you can special summon him from your hand. If you gain life points, you can target a non-tuner plant monster and turn it into a tuner for this turn, and then if he goes to the graveyard, you gain 500 life points. So that's a free special summon, gain life points, turn things into a tuner for your new synchro. That's really good. One Jasmine. She's probably the Aromage most people know, where if you gain life points, you get to draw a card, and if you're at higher life points, you get an additional normal summon of a plant. She's really good, but she's only 100 little attack, so you don't play a whole lot of her. One Rosemary. If you're at higher life points, your opponent cannot use cards or effects when your plants attack. And then if you gain life points, you get to target a monster on the field and change its battle positions. All of the Aromage monster effects are mandatory, which can get a little bit tricky with searching and things like that, but it's still pretty fun. This is another one of the new ones, Marjoram. She says while you're at higher life points, plants you don't take battle damage involving plant monsters. If you gain life points, you get to target cards in your opponent's graveyard equal to the number of Aromages you control and banish them. And then if a plant you control is destroyed while she's in your hand, you get a special summon her and gain 500 life points, I think. So she's pretty good for a lockdown combo and just banishing things and protecting stuff. 3 Lone Fire, because it's a plant deck and Lone Fire is really, really good. Then there's the Brilliant Fusion engine of the 3 Scorpio, 1 Cobra, 1 Garnet, because you play Brilliant Fusion in this deck because Angelica is, funnily enough, a light. So you just get a free Angelica in the graveyard and an additional normal summon, and it's pretty good. I have opened these 1-ofs so many times, and it makes me so sad when we do. And then other good 1-ofs is a Spore and a Glow Up Bulb, because plants, synchro, generic good support is good. Last monsters is just Ash Blossoms, because it's the best hand trap there is. I want to put in more ways to stop my opponent, because as it stands right now, I don't really stop monster effects, so I want to put in things like Effect Veiler or Strike or Impermanence. I just don't have the room right now, because this deck's really weird to sideboard into, and just to build in general, because a lot of the cards are good, but they're also kind of really bad. Aroma Garden's their field spell. It says once a turn, if you have an Aroma monster, you can gain 500 life points, and if you do, all your monsters that you currently have gain 500 attack and defense till the end of your opponent's turn, which is good for pushing damage or protecting some of your monsters that might be kind of small. And then if an Aroma is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to gain 1,000, and that's not a once per turn, so you can gain a lot of life points and just stay ahead. 3 of a new card, Gardening. Gardening, I think, is really, really good. I know that if you play a more combo-heavy version of this deck, you don't play any Gardening, but I think this card's hilarious. Because if you normal or special summon an Aroma, you get to gain 1,000, so that triggers all of their effects and more life points. And then if you're at lower life points and your opponent declares an attack, you get to special summon one from your deck, which then triggers its own effect to gain 1,000, and then triggers the effect of the Aroma you summon, so you can do some fun shenanigans with that and save yourself. 3 Called by the Grave, because it's a combo deck. You don't want your Lone Fire or Orphis Scorpio to get ashed or stopped somehow, so gotta play 3 of that. 2 of another new card, Cauldron of the Old Man. It gets a counter when it's first activated, and then gets a counter during each of your standby phases. And then once a turn, you can either gain 500 per counter or burn your opponent for 300 per counter. So it's like a really, really slow wave motion cannon, but you just play it because you get to gain life points. And I actually won a game by gaining 2,000 life points in time, so that was cute. 1 Terraforming to search out your field spell, because the field spell is pretty good. And the 1 of Brilliant Fusion that I can only play 1 of, and I'm depressed because I have a playset of Ulti Germans, but I can only play 1. Onto the traps, there's 3 of a new trap called Blessed Wind, and this card's insane. It was exactly what the deck needed, to where you can do one of 3 effects. You can either send a plant from hand or field to graveyard to gain 500, return a plant from graveyard to deck to gain 500, or pay 1,000 and special summon any Aromage from your graveyard. So this can bring back your Synchros, this can bring back your Link, this can shuffle back combo pieces. Like shuffling back the one of Darling Cobra isn't actually bad, because if you've already resolved the Brilliant Fusion, then Orpheus Scorpio is just a combo to get into Jasmine, because Jasmine just requires plants. So this card's insane because you can use it during both players' turn and trigger all your monster effects. 2 Humid Winds. This one's one of the older ones where you pay 1,000 to add an Aroma monster, and if you're at lower life points, you can gain 500. So that can trigger your things, get your monsters, do whatever you need it to. It's pretty good. And then 1 Dried Winds. This, if you gain life points, you can target a monster and destroy it, but it has to destroy a face-up monster, and it's not optional with like a lot of these. And if you're at higher life points, you can pay life points equal to the difference and blow up all monsters your opponent controls whose attack add up to the life points you paid. So you can potentially field wipe someone with this, but all of the wins are searchable, so that's why I only played 1 of this. Yeah, so then the extra deck. 1 Black Rose. I've never made this, but it's a plant deck, so it's kind of pretty as it's a rose, but this could be taken out for literally anything. I never made it. 1 Borreload Savage. This card's really good. I make it every now and then, but when it comes up, it's super, super good. The 1 Seraph Knight for the Gem Knight stuff. 2 Linkaribos, because Spores level 1, Blow Up Bulbs level 1, that you have a lot of level 1s that you kind of want in the graveyard, so Linkaribo's kind of cute. 1 Phoenix, 1 Cerberus, and then 1 Unicorn, just to deal with any problematic cards I may have. 1 Barricade Board Blocker, just to get some of your continuous spells and your field spell back during the end phase if you really need it. Borrelsword Dragon, this card's insane. This card shouldn't exist. It let me win 2 games today that I should not win, just because I had a really big monster, and this deck can special summon a lot of times in a turn, so you can just make a Borrelsword and then win for no reason. This card's dumb. This is the first Aromage Link or Synchro they got, where if you are at higher life points, all of your plants gain 500 attack and defense. And then if you gain life points, you can target a card on the field and its effects are negated until the end phase. I didn't make this against most of the games except the last one where I was under there can only be 1. And so we just paid 1,000 with the Blessed Wind, special summon it back from the graveyard, gained life points, negated it, and then went on our merry way. So she's pretty cool. 2 of the new Synchro that they got, Marjoram. This card is insane. On summon, you get to search for either Dried, Humid, or Blessed. So instantly you get access to your 3 uber good traps. If you're at higher life points, your opponent can't target your plants with card effects. And if you gain life points, you get to target a card on the field and pop it. So she can pop anything. She's also really good for getting around. There can only be 1s and things like that. So she's insane. And then 2 of their Link, which I don't know why this Link exists, because it's also retarded, where if you gain life points, you get to add any plant from your deck to your hand. So I've added Lone Fire Blossom, Spore, you can add any plant you want under the sun, and then it tributes a card she points to special summon any plant you could want ever. So she's just retarded. And then if you're at higher life points, your opponent can't destroy her or the card she points to from battle. So assuming that your combo goes off uninterrupted, you end on a Jasmine, a Sweet Marjoram, and then the main deck version of Marjoram. And of course you have higher life points because you don't get to this point without higher life points. So with this right now, you also get the search from her, so you get Blessed Winds. So at this point you have higher life points, so she and these can't be destroyed by battle. They can't be targeted by card effects, and you don't take battle damage, so they're not going to make your life points lower to out this. And then during either turn, you get a search, you get a pop, and you get to banish 3 cards from their graveyard by shuffling something from your graveyard back into your deck. So if you go uninterrupted, this is what you can end on, and it's pretty silly. It's pretty insane. I liked it. For the side deck, 3 Nibiru, because Rocky Boy's good. You just stop a turn. I did this against Thunder Dragons and it won. 3 Dogwood, just because against Special Summon Heavy deck you can gain life points and trigger your monsters if you already have them, or just get higher so you can use some of your effects. 3 Twin Twister for blowing up problematic cards, and 3 Red Reboot for dealing with traps, because you can't necessarily deal with evenly matched or something like that, and cards like There Can Only Be One or Rivalry or Gozen are really annoying, as you'll probably see in the match I had against Paleo. And then this is a really cute card that I never resolved, but I really wanted to, and it's Clashing Souls. It's kind of like evenly matched, but a little different, to where you go into the battle phase and during damage calculation you flip this, and both players take turns paying life points in increments of 500, and then in the end whoever monster is higher wins, essentially, where you don't take battle damage, neither monster's destroyed, but whoever monster is higher after paying all the life points wins the Clash of the Souls, and then their opponent has to send all cards they control to the graveyard, and it sends, it doesn't destroy, it doesn't do anything, it just sends. So you can send all their back row, all of their monsters, you just send everything, and it's pretty cute in a deck where you can have 20,000 life points and then just go battle phase and win with a monster with 100 attack points and just nuke their field. So it's cute. I never resolved it. It could be anything you wanted. I just wanted it for the memes. Let's see, anything else? Do you want me to go over matches or no?
No. How many times have you been, time, like?
Oh, I think we went into time twice. Because most of the games, if you end on that combo I showed, it's just kind of a win, where you get to pop a card, search a card, banish 3, so most decks can't deal with that. The only one I did go into time was against the Thunder Dragon player, and it was really cute because I had Gardening and Poison of the Old, or Cauldron of the Old Man, and I had a way to special summon a Aromage, so I ended up gaining 2,000 life points during my main phase in time, and won because of that. And then, is that the only time we went into time? I'm not really sure. But that was funny. That was the fun game right there. It was against the Thunder Dragon guy. He was real salty. We opened a 1 of Nibiru and won because of that. That was exciting.
Any shout-outs you want to do?
I guess shout out to you, because you're giving me another deck profile with a really stupid deck that I like. I don't know. I guess shout out to Alex, because he gave me the Clashing Souls. I wouldn't have had those, but I also don't use them. I guess also a shout out to Sean, because he's letting me borrow the Dogwoods, because I don't own Dogwoods. But other than that, that's about it. Yeah, I know.
Thank you for watching, like, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye for now.